Hi, I am Anna. I come from www.ntvforex.com. USD JPY losing bullish commitments to fresh 105.80 low. http ntvforex.com news ID 6BA213 minutes ago by Ross J. Berland. USD JPY is currently trading at 105.83 as the yen extends its advance NBSP vs the greenback to a low of 105.80, taking out the late New York lows. The US dollar was losing ground NBSP in the New York session as markets move away from the risk associated with the forthcoming Jackson Hole and keynote speech from the Fed's Chair Jerome Powell scheduled NBSP for 14:10 GMT. More on that below. Meanwhile, as for data, the US durable goods orders rose 11.2% in July EST 4.7% MOM, prior 7.7% MOM, playing second fiddle to the risk sentiment associated to central bankers later today. Nevertheless, the data was boosted by a 22% jump in orders for motor vehicles in part, while the ex-transport rise measure was more subdued at 2.4% MOM EST 2.0% MOM, prior revised to 4.0% MM from initial 3.6% M MOM. NBSP overall, NBSP The NBSP data. NBSP is positive news for the sustainability of the recovery. Also during the session, there were comments from the Fed's George N. Barkin. Disinflationary pressures, as well as the uncertainty over the path of COVID-19 and the recovery, were the major themes as a prelude to the Jackson Hole later today. Meanwhile, the risk mood was positive as markets looked through continued tensions between the US and China overnight, with China firing 2 missiles in the South China Sea as part of military drills. This may well be a theme that is returned to quite quickly, especially as tensions increase further following the US strengthening sanctions on companies seen as supporting China to reclaim and militarize disputed outposts, according to the US Department of Commerce. Instead, for the time being, investors betting on the large-cap companies on Wall Street to continue to hire, bolstered by the stimulus, brings us nicely to the Jackson Hole preview in an event which has kept risk appetite buoyant. The Jackson Hole, the Fed's policy framework, which is due to be the core of Powell's keynote symposium speech, is what markets will be tuning in for. Powell's speech, which begins the annual Kansas City Fed Economic Symposium. His speech is titled A Monetary Policy Framework Review at 11:10 p.m. SID 9:10 p.m. SING, or 14:10 GMT. Analysts at ANZ Bank explained that the NBSP market is NBSP looking to see whether and how policy tools might be adapted to achieve an average inflation target, which has so far been open to speculation. NBSP, for example, the analysts say, QE could become conditional on macro and inflation developments, or date dependent. But the upshot is adapting an average inflation target would be seen as undoubtedly dovish, meaning looser monetary policy for longer. An average inflation target would mean that the Fed would be willing to tolerate an overshoot in inflation to make up for an undershoot that had occurred over a certain limited period of time. NBSP in the current environment, this would anchor inflation expectations, lower real interest rates, and lead to the policy being expansionary for longer than otherwise. NBSP therefore, this is positive for risk and negative for the dollar. USD JPY levels. NBSP overview today. Last price 105.84 today. Daily change 0.15 today. Daily change percent 0.14 today. Daily open 105.99 NBSP trends. Daily SMA 20 105.99 Daily SMA 50 106.56 Daily SMA 100 107.04 Daily SMA 200 108.01 NBSP levels. Previous daily high 106.56 Previous daily low 105.96 Previous weekly high 106.68 Previous weekly low 105.1 Previous monthly high 108.16 Previous monthly low 104.19 Daily Fibonacci 38.2% 106.19 Daily Fibonacci 61.8% 106.33 Daily Pivot Point S1 105.78 Daily Pivot Point S2 105.57 daily pivot point S3 105.18 daily pivot point R1 106.38 daily pivot point R2 106.77 daily pivot point R3 106.98 NBSP. Subscribe our channel to receive the news as soon as possible. Thank you for watching. If you want to read real-time news, text messages to MT5 Expert Advisors page at https://m.me mt5.expert.advisors.